Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Sunday afternoon, which means it's time for us to talk about coping with stress. And without a doubt, I have a lot to report this week. I don't know how your week was stress-wise, but I definitely managed to create my own total chaos. And what I'm going to do in a minute is to show you how I accidentally created it and then what did I do about it. So hopefully some of you will relate to this, and hopefully some of you will see this and remember it when it happens to you. And just, yeah, how did I get out of the total chaos? I'm not totally out of it yet, I must add, but I'm getting there. I wanted to just let you know that DearMamaSal, for those of you who don't know, is not myself. Well, I'm part of it. But it's a group of people who get together 3 times a week, and we help each other go through life. And we talk about real things, what's really happening. And we hopefully help other people by letting people know that, hey, you're not alone in this, right? We all struggle with this. It doesn't matter who you are and what socio-income group you come from, or where you live in the world or whatever. We're all dealing with the same stuff. And hopefully week by week we end up teaching a lot of people a lot of things, and very hopefully help them cope with their lives a little bit better. For those of you who don't know, I am just a human being like the rest of you. I've lived a bit longer than some. That's how I got the gray hair. But just know that I'm not a psychologist, psychiatrist, doctor, anything with a piece of paper like that. The information you're going to hear is based on my experience and what I'm doing. It's not necessarily the right thing. Who knows the right thing, right? We all live our own life at our own speed. But what we try to do is to give you options. And that's really, really important. Every week I quote a guy called Thich Nhat Hanh, a Buddhist monk. And I heard this week that he passed. And so all my quotes today will be from him. And I thought I'd start with one. And he said, meditation is to be aware of what's going on in your body, in your feelings, in your mind, and in the world. And I just wonder how many of you actually are aware that you meditate even without actually meaning to. And when I say that, you'll be doing something peaceful. Maybe you go for a walk and suddenly ideas start coming into your head. Or maybe you're standing in the shower and just totally enjoying the moment. And when you do that, suddenly ideas pop into your head, or questions come into your head, and you think, wow, where did that come from? Well, where it comes from is because we get into that peaceful place. And one of the reasons I loved and I still love the work of this particular Buddhist monk is that whenever I want to get back into peace, which is what I needed this week, I read a lot of his stuff because it makes so much sense to me. And the one that I've, been quoting time and time again when I do the welcome here is he said, smile, breathe, and go slowly. All right? Smile, breathe, and go slowly. And funny enough, it was that quote this week that helped me out of total chaos. And that's how I want to make sure that you understand, it happens to all of us. Remember to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. That's where we sort of update people on what's going on with other members and so forth. And that's really important. So before we get on to the discussion today, I just wanted to give you a heads up for those of you who watch the Olympics. The Winter Olympics will start on February the 4th. And I believe the Super Bowl is on the following weekend. They obviously couldn't have them both going on at the same weekend either. By the way, hi to Jody, who is our admin, and also to our moderator, Jeannie, who is also in the room. Thank you so much. So pleased to see you. And if you happen to be watching from the outside of the room, feel free to participate. We love having people's comments in here, not just our own from the group. But I do thank those of you who are the regulars. So my question is, are you prepared for the Olympics? Are you prepared for the Super Bowl? And, some of us have been watching the Australian Open tennis. And that's really messed with my sleep pattern. I don't know about the rest of you. I heard something this week that really shocked me, but I thought it's a heads up we all need to think about. I heard about a mother of two who needed some life-saving cancer surgery and can't get into hospital because there are so many people with COVID taking up the beds, and they've said, we're really sorry, we don't have room for you. I wanted to just talk about that because be prepared that that could happen to you or your loved ones, all right? Until this thing wears itself out, we're going to have more and more challenges like that. I wanted to just say the birthdays that we know about in the coming weeks, coming couple of weeks. We've got Erin coming up on the 26th, her big 4-0. That's really exciting for her. And then Becca is on the 28th. So if any of you are regulars and would like to be on the birthday list, and I haven't mentioned you, for this next couple of weeks, please let us know. We have a database where we keep all that information. I'd like to thank Lynn for the thumbnails, those little pictures that we put up with the broadcast. I really appreciate those. Thank you so much. So let me talk about this whole thing that happened this week. And I want to talk about it under the heading of sometimes you have to go backwards to go forwards. Have any of you ever felt that? That you have so much going on that you've actually got to stop, take stock, replan everything, and then only then can you move forward again. Have any of you been in that situation? Because if so, you will relate to a lot of what I'm going to talk about. But what I wanted to do was to literally show you how I totally accidentally caused absolute chaos for myself. And it wasn't obviously all from my own doing, because life got in the way. And so what I've got is a number of different things. And what I brought my trusty pokey stick, which actually happens to be a rather fat knitting needle, to show you the layout of my house, because I'm going to let you understand what's going on. This is the front door to my house, and you go into this is what I call the fireplace area, and then I got a living area over here. We've got a dining room there and a kitchen there. No problem. Here is the laundry room, and some of you know it was my goal in the winter, to paint that first cupboard. Don't know if you can see, but it's green. To paint that first cupboard inside and out in the laundry room. And I discussed it all with everybody, how I'd ordered up the stuff. Oh, nice, useful, the pokey stick. How I got the hinges, and I've got the doorknobs, and I've got the paint. I'm all ready to go. So obviously it was time to empty that first cupboard. Just as I did it, right? So I emptied it out. I was really proud of myself. And I put the boxes of the stuff. And by the way, there was more in that cupboard than I thought. But I want to show you where I put the boxes, right? I put the boxes next to my big freezer, which is here, leaving myself enough room in the center so that I could open and close the freezer and get things out. So here we go. These are the boxes that I had of the stuff that was in that cupboard. And that was fine. Still not too bad. Then the air fryer replacement arrived, and I've got that in red for you. I don't know if you can see that. So I put it on top of the freezer because that's where I unpack things. It's the greatest surface for unpacking all the Amazon boxes. However, here is the freezer, and it comes in a box that size. And then that box is inside another box. Make sense? Now I need to keep both of them just in case I have to return them, which you already know I have to do. So this is what happened. So obviously I unpack the air fryer, and I unpacked it here. That was fine. And then I put the box here to get it out of the way. And what am I going to do with the air fryer once I realize they sent the wrong model? I've got to get it off the freezer. Does that make sense? So I put it in my master bedroom. That doesn't work very well. Which already had a couple of boxes in it, but now I've added the box from the actual fryer itself went into the master bedroom. So that is no longer there because I need it. It's where I fold my laundry. It's where I do a lot of things. It's my ultimate workspace in the house. So in the meantime, some of you know that I got all my Christmas stuff done, and I bought a couple of big totes that I could put them in. And what I did was I put those big totes in my master bedroom, and they were along this wall. So I had 2 totes in my master bedroom, but I knew that wasn't going to be there very long because it's going into the shed. Are you all with me so far? Now, the problem was that the shed is already chock-a-block. I'm still unpacking from moving in here. The shed is already chock-a-block with stuff. So in order to make room for these new totes, I've got to reorganize what was there because I took out Christmas boxes and I've downsized them, but now I've got to rearrange the shed to make room for these much bigger totes that are going in. So I haven't done it yet, so I can't put them into the shed. So this is where they are. All right. Then, at the same time, the studio, which is this room here, I call it the studio. Some people would call that a spare room or whatever, but I call it the studio. Now, that was already my storage room. All right. I've still got boxes in there that I'm trying to unpack before I get to the ones in the shed. And for some reason, this week or starting last week, I decided I wanted to put down the carpet that belongs in there so I can start really getting that room more organized. So here's the thing. How are you going to do that when the room is already full of boxes and junk? All right. It's my junk room at the moment. Well, I decided I didn't want to mess everything up by taking everything out because you could imagine how much extra chaos that would have caused. Does that make sense? So I decided what I would do is I would take the carpet. I would take out this wall unit that is here. Okay, this is a wall unit here. I would take out this wall unit, put the carpet down, and then systematically move things onto the carpet and unroll it on the way to the window. Does that make sense to everybody? So then every day I would just move a little bit and then roll the carpet a bit more, put things on top of the carpet, move it a little bit more, put things on top of the carpet until I got the carpet all the way down to that end. However, some of those boxes ended up coming out and into the craft room. Now, I don't know if you can see this. Oh, some of them came into the master bedroom. So from being a house that was pretty well put together and organized, I suddenly, in the space of a week, ended up with chaos in my craft room, chaos in my master bedroom, chaos in my studio, and nothing going on in the laundry room. Oh, by the way, I've got a Christmas box here. That's part of my Christmas lights. There are also some Christmas lights out on the deck that are waiting to go into the shed when I've worked out where I'm going to put everything. So what I said in the broadcast on Friday was I admitted the fact that I have got chaos going on. And if any of you have ever been in chaos, can we talk about what does it feel like when your life is in overwhelm? It's getting really warm in here, so I got to take this off. What does it feel like to you when your life is in overwhelm? Can you give me some sort of feedback on that? For me, I don't like myself very much. I start beating up on myself and going, how did I do this? What caused this? And of course, as we talk about every week, that is a total waste of energy and time. All right. Beating up on yourself. It's just total waste of time. And the other thing is, it's a feeling. It's not truth. I'm not a disorganized person. I am not a total waste of skin. I am actually quite a smart human being that ended up in a state. Yes, Jeannie's adding, it can be depressing. And by the way, that's a good point. It was depressing for me. It was beginning, I was beginning to feel not comfortable in my own skin. And so what I did was I decided enough is enough. And I literally said, stop and take stock. All right. And Jodi's saying she gets anxious and so stressed. All right. So what I did was I said, stop and take stock. And the first question I asked, where are you getting the most stressed? And the most stressed was what was happening in this middle room, because it's what I call a public room. The craft room. It doesn't have any doors on it. So that was my worst. I got the worst feeling when I was in there. So I said, well, then the number one thing we need to do, that's me and my internal critic, what we need to do is get that craft room tidied up. Does that make sense to everybody? What is causing me the most stress, and work on that first. Does that make sense to everybody? Because once I get that tidy, the rest of it, if somebody comes to visit, I can close the door on my master bedroom. I can close the door on the studio. The cupboard in the laundry room is empty. That was the next thing I thought about. 2 of these boxes came out of the laundry room, and I said, put them back. And I'm going, no. I spent all the time getting them out. I went, Sal, put them back. Put what was in there back in the cupboard. You are not ready to paint. Can you see where that makes sense? Take a step back, put everything back. By the way, it was better organized. I had more space. So when I empty it the second time, it's going to be easier. So now I get rid of those. All right, they're gone. Already the walk from my kitchen or my living room to my master bedroom and to my bathroom suddenly is cleaner. And I feel better. Now then, here's the problem. I've now still got the box from the air fryer in the craft room. I need the box. So what I did is I broke it down, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But this big box has to go inside the other box. And I broke that box down so it would take up less space. Does that make sense to anybody? But my inner critic is going, that is a total waste of time, Sal, because you're going to have to put it back together again. And I'm going, not today. And I've got plenty of packing tape, very easy for me to put it back together again. So now what I did is I got rid of that box. How many of you can see now my craft room is beginning to feel lighter again? All right, everything's back in the laundry cupboard. And now I've got all sorts of stuff in my bedroom. Do I like that? No. But I can't put it in the studio because the studio is a work in progress trying to get the carpet down. So I've got to live with it. Now, some of you are saying, all right, why don't you just put it all in the shed? Well, I assure you, I spent a couple of hours in the shed starting to reorganize things so that I can get things back in there. But it's very tightly packed. It's like a Jenga puzzle in there. And to make room for this stuff with different size boxes from the ones that originally came out with all the Christmas stuff in it is not simple. It would be wonderful to be able to take all the boxes out and put them outside, reorganize, and then bring everything back in. But of course, the weather doesn't allow for that. So I am learning to be patient with myself. All right. Which is, it's going to take a little bit longer. But now in the meantime, if anybody comes to visit me, which we know doesn't happen all the time, but if anybody does, am I at least beginning to look a little tidier? And the answer is yes, I am. And so I'm very, very happy about that. Listen to this. The Buddhist monk said that if I breathe in, I calm my body. Breathing out, I smile. Dwelling in the present moment, I know this is only the moment. Now, Jeannie understands this box problem because she had the same problem as I did. Jeannie's saying, I had empty boxes on the living room floor. It bothered me. I finally took out the last box and put it outside. It felt so much better. And then York, her husband, put it in the trash. Yes. Now, that's the other thing. I've got a lot of boxes that I've broken down, and I need to get them out to the trash. But, you know, you can only put so much out a week. So I am unpacking a lot of boxes, and I'm getting Amazon boxes. And so I have to be a little strategic about which ones I throw out and when. But what I did have in that craft room as well was a big box containing the broken down boxes. And what I decided was, I don't care if it's not ideal. I took that big box out and put it on the deck. I needed to feel lighter in the craft room. And I want to tell you, just taking the day and just bit by bit going, what do I need to clean up so I can walk into the craft room and not feel like this? And I did a little bit more than I should have done. I don't mind telling you that. But I got it done. And then I knew that I'd probably use some muscles that I didn't mean to. And so I did take some, I call it ibuprofen, to, you know, help my muscles, because I knew they'd be screaming a bit because, you know, they were lifting things that they hadn't lifted for a while and so forth. The other thing is, you're probably wondering, this whole business of putting the carpet down in the studio. I'm actually doing really well. I just, every now and then I go in and move one more thing. Just remember, that's how I do things. Move one more thing. All right. And I thought I have got some pictures for you here, which I thought you probably would like to see. First of all, I got a picture of you what that whole area in my craft room looked like. Can I do that sideways? Yes. So this was what my craft room looked like when I'd half cleaned it up. You see this big box full of boxes? You see this whole stack? This was a whole stack of empty boxes here. They've gone outside now. So, you know, you can imagine every time I saw it, it was just yuck. And then where have I got this? This is all the stuff that ended up. Switch. This is in my bedroom now, right? All the big boxes going into my bedroom where I'm trying to, you know, get things sorted out. So that's clutter in my bedroom now. I don't do that well. And then this is some of the stuff in another part of my bedroom where I've got the boxes, and then that's the air fryer on top. And, you know, it's just like, wow, chaos everywhere. But the good news is, this is where I started to unroll the carpet. Can you see that? So about one of the room, the carpet was down, and then I moved all that stuff you can see on this side. I then moved it onto the carpet and then unrolled the carpet a bit more, and then continued to do that. And so about 2 hours or more later, I was about halfway down, like that. And then today, before I started getting ready for the broadcast, hang on a second. Yeah, I got all the way down. You can actually see the window now. I'm that far down. So I reckon either tomorrow later tonight or tomorrow, probably by tomorrow, I should have the carpet down. And once the carpet is down, then I can start reorganizing everything in there. Phew. But can you see that I needed to stop completely, work out what was causing me the stress, and then dealing with it. It wasn't going to go away on its own. And by the way, complaining about it wasn't going to help me either. You know what I mean? Oh, it's not fair. It's if I hadn't got to return the air fryer, it is what it is. You got to return the air fryer. You can't put that stuff away. So, to me, it was just like, it was a great lesson in dealing with reality and just not getting overly upset with it. So here's another quote from our Buddhist monk. He said, "Drink your tea slowly and reverently, as if it is the axis on which the very earth rotates. Slowly, evenly, and without rushing towards the future." You see, the only way I was going to get back under control was to get myself under control. So here's my next question to all of you who deal with stress and overwhelm and everything else. How do you get yourself back under control? All right, because we know it's within us. Nobody else is causing that. I'm the one that gets upset when I see the mess. So the question I have is, what do you do to get yourself under control? In the meantime, Jeannie is saying, got a blender after Christmas. Kept it in the kitchen counter, but didn't use it. Finally placed it in the office until I actually need to use it. Yes, that was a discussion. Hi there, Kimmy. That was a discussion we had earlier in the year. Free up your kitchen from the equipment you do not use on a weekly basis. If you use it every week, keep it in the kitchen. If you only use it once a month, keep it somewhere else. Still in the house, but not in the kitchen. All right. And that way you will create a lot more room in your kitchen, which is probably the most used room in your house, other than the bathroom, perhaps. I always think that my washroom is the most used in the house, but then, yeah, I'm of an age. So he also said, I promise myself that I will enjoy every minute of the day that is given to me to live. Can you understand that intentionally walking out, and I want to say a rude word, but upsetting myself every time I walk in through from my living area to my bathroom, I have to pass the craft room. And if that is upsetting me every time I pass it by, then what am I doing to myself? All right. So how did I get myself under control? I actually went and made a cup of coffee. And then I had a very serious chat with myself. And I said, can you forgive yourself for messing everything up? And I went, yeah, I didn't mean to. Life got in the way. I mean, it wouldn't be as big a mess if, this hadn't arrived and I didn't have to hang on to this box. But it's all happened. Therefore, I have total chaos and I don't like it. So then the next question, who, what, why, where, when, and how? That's how I solve problems. Who created the problem? Well, I created some of it by unpacking the stuff in that laundry room before I was really ready. What am I going to do about it? Well, I'm going to put the stuff back in the laundry room. And then my internal critic went, oh, but then you just got to unpack it. And I went, shut up. It's going back in. I need to get my craft room under control. I didn't realize it, but that's really important to me. So then, yes, Sam is saying forgiving myself is something I struggle with. I do too, Sam. I'm glad I'm not the only one. So then I said, okay, that's plan A. Plan A is I'm going to, first of all, put things back into the laundry room. But then I said, but what I'm going to do is not put back the stuff that I don't want in there. All right. I'm just going to put back the stuff that I want in there. Definitely. So I managed to get that sorted out pretty well. I was quite proud of myself for that. Then I went and had more coffee. I took another break after I'd done that. Then I looked at the craft room and I said, now what? Well, the air fryer has to move out of here. I've obviously got to get it off the big, I've got this big freezer like this. It was on top of there. That's got to go. Where do I want to put it? Well, I can't put it in the studio. There's enough stuff in there already. It has to go into the bedroom. Oh, I don't want it in there. And I went, I don't actually give a damn. It has to go into the bedroom. Why? Because if I need it out of the way and I need to close the door, the bedroom door is the easiest. If I don't want people seeing into my bedroom. I normally keep it open, but hey, if I need to, I can close the door. So with that, I took that and I took the box, right? This one. I took this box that it came in and the box that box came in, and I put them all in my bedroom. Why? They're going to be gone this week. I'm just waiting for the shipping label, pack it back up again, and it's going to be gone. So now I've got that stuff out of the craft room. And then I went and took another break, sat down and said, what's next? By the way, I kept taking pictures for myself so I could see what needed to be next. And, I just systematically, during I gave myself a day to get it sorted out. All right. And all I kept doing was doing one more thing, going back, taking a break, thinking about it. What did I need to do next? I spent some time in the shed creating space. I spent some time in the shed with my tape measure working out where can I put these things. And then, my mind's going, oh, but you're better to do this in the spring. And I'm going, I don't have that much time. This needs to be sorted out before the spring, before the nice weather arrives. It needs to be sorted out this week. Therefore, either I'm going to take stuff out and put it in the rain, or I'm just going to just quietly move it around as best I can, knowing that in the spring, I can maybe get Dougie over for an afternoon and we take everything out and repack it. That's also, part of it. So, but what I was amazed at, and I don't know if any of you agree with me, was how much negative input was coming from my brain. How much negative input was coming from my brain. And I just had to keep saying to my brain, I know I'm not lazy. I know I didn't intentionally create this chaos. And then it would say, well, it was stupid. No, I'm not stupid. No. At the time that I unpacked the stuff in the laundry room, you all know, because you were part of the process, it was the next step in that goal that I was going to do in the winter. You all remember, I've been telling you, now I've bought the bits, I've got the paint, I got the hinges, I got the knobs. And I said to you all a couple of weeks ago, now I just have to empty the cupboard and start painting. You see, it was all part of the plan, except behind it, chaos was happening. And it was out of my control, the chaos. But now coping with the chaos is under my control. But can you see that it was necessary for me to just stop everything and reevaluate what I needed in my life to settle down? All right, here's another quote from him, and that I think might help explain it. It said, the mind can go in 1,000 directions, but on this beautiful path, I walk in peace. With each step, the wind blows. With each step, the flower blooms. You see, and if I thought about it like that, which I did, I went back into the art room, the craft room, and I said to myself, you're doing a really great job, Sal. Well done. See, it was necessary for me to remind myself that I had taken steps in the right direction. And I walked into the laundry room and I closed those cupboard doors and went, done, until I'm ready for you. And then the voice in my head said, yeah, but you promised yourself you were going to have this done in the winter. And I said, it can take the rest of my life. It's not going to make a whole stack of difference. So go away. It is important for me to get peace back in my life. And so then I kept reminding myself to be my own cheerleader. Do any of you know what I mean? I kept reminding myself, you can go into the studio now and you can move a box or two. That's it. That's all you have to do. So you can tick off today, did I do something to help clean up the mess in the studio and get that carpet down? You see, to me, if I've done anything, I've taken a step in the right direction. Now, what I've also found, and you probably have too, that if I go in there just to move maybe 2 boxes, I will probably end up moving 2 boxes and a couple of other things and do a little bit more than just the 2 boxes I thought I was going to do. But you see, the goal I give myself is that is all I have to do to be able to check a box. And does it matter if that carpet doesn't go down in the next week? No, it doesn't. But I will feel better when it is done and I can start rearranging that room. Jeannie is saying, I feel stressed nowadays because Misty, that's her dog, felt sick and had to return to the vet for a special visit. And York had a 2.5-hour rhinologist appointment for his eyes, finding he has macular degeneration. I am the driver and helper, but I kept feeling grateful. Yes, it is difficult because you are having more and more responsibility put onto you, Jeannie, without you being prepared for it necessarily. So I'm hoping that you are being really kind to yourself and reminding yourself it is what it is, and I need to make time for myself so that I can stay at peace to help York. All right, Jody's saying, I like how you gave yourself the grace you deserve by forgiving yourself and making a plan. I want to tell you the most important thing was to realize, and I didn't really realize it, Jody, to realize that I am much better when I am pretty well organized. I've never been a tidy person, quite honestly. But I am better. I feel better when I walk through my house and it's tidy. So that's something that the fire has created for me. I think, having to move first of all, and then having the fire and moving out of my home while it was a disaster, and then having to put it all back together again, somehow or other, having everything in its place and a place for everything is really important. Yeah, I love your thinking here. Jeannie's talking about the macular degeneration for her husband, and she is saying there's hope for it nowadays. Yes, Jeannie, I have a friend of mine, diagnosed with cancer. And, I keep saying to myself, I am so glad that she got that diagnosis now, not 20 years ago or 40 years ago. All right, because, we know that medicine in general, just multiplies the learning every 5 years like it doubles the knowledge every 5 years nowadays. So, this is wonderful. And, also because you're a smart cookie, Jeannie, you may want to spend some time going, well, if this continues to deteriorate, what do I need to be prepared for? All right. So that you're not in shock. All right. So you're not caught behind the 8 ball, but you can already start thinking about what if it continues to degenerate? What do we need to have in place so that he is safe, I am safe, and that we don't have a panic? And the monk said, when we are mindful, deeply in touch with the present moment, our understanding of what is going on deepens. And we begin to be filled with acceptance, joy, peace, and love. I am pretty sure that any of you who are dealing with medical issues will agree that one of the most important things is to not keep fighting it. In other words, it is what it is. Now let me deal with it. Now, that's not being negative. That's not giving in to the illness. That's saying, I accept that's what I have, but now I fight it in a different way. All right? I didn't get it on purpose. All right? But now I'm going to do something about it. It's interesting. Jeannie is saying that she is already reading to York newspapers and books. I am the driver, and I make meals that he likes. Yes. But what I want to know, Jeannie, is what are you doing for you? I am glad that you've got that plan sorted out already and you're already doing those things. All right. That's wonderful. Doesn't surprise me at all. It's who you are. But, you know, what are you doing to support yourself better? And how can we better support you? In other words, let us know what you believe your goals are to look after yourself. And we will create a mini subgroup, you know, of people who will help you and remind you and you know, bug you a little bit about, hey, did you take time to go to the, you know, spa or whatever it is that you think you'd like to do? Because you are going to need time for you if you're going to cope with all of this. I was telling Jody a story this morning. You know, she was talking about the fact that she was supreming grapefruit. Now, okay, I can't do it with a grapefruit, but I can do it with an orange. Hang on. Right now, the reason that I want to do this is I want you to understand something. And it's a really important lesson in stress relief. All right. If you are supreming a piece of fruit, citrus in particular, all right, what you do is you cut the ends off. So now we don't have any ends. And then what you do is you cut a slice. Okay. And then with the slice, oh, actually, I did that the wrong way. With the slice, okay, we got a slice. You then cut off the outside. Okay, and then what you do is you cut the fruit between the membranes. Okay, so like here and here. So you cut off the membrane in between and here. Now, I'm not going to waste time doing it because I just want you to get the idea. But this fruit here has been supremed, all right? The white stuff is gone. Here. Now, when Jody was talking to me about that, I laughed and I said, you know, that reminds me of something. And what it reminds me of is something I saw in somebody's house. I was visiting somebody's house for an open house, Christmas open house thing one time. And just as you went up the stairs into the living room, it was a split level house. As you went up the stairs to the living room, there were all sorts of really nice pictures of the family and all sorts of knickknacks and things on the walls. And then there was this tiny little plaque about this big. And being me and my, you know, hawk eyes, I stopped. But I wanted to read what was on that plaque that it got that position with all the other stuff that was obviously really important. And what it said, if you stopped and really looked at it, it said, life is too short to be stuffing tomatoes. Now, I don't know about you, but I burst out laughing and I immediately sought out the hostess. I said, I want to tell you, I just read the thing about stuffing tomatoes and I totally agree with you. And she said, actually, I've kept it there because it's really interesting to me. And I said, what is? And she said, the only people who have ever remarked about it, and people do every now and then. She said, I have a lot of people come through my house. Most people don't even see it. But she said, the only ones that see it and then actually talk about it are people with a great sense of humor. And I said, well, you got that one right. But that saying kept in my mind, right? Life is too short to be stuffing tomatoes. So I said to Jody, you're but the thing is, if you're doing it as a labor of love, all right, then it's worth every second you spend on him. But would I do that on a daily basis? Absolutely not. Do I know how to turn, watermelons into beautiful fruit bowls? You bet I do. Do I do it every time I get watermelon? No. I do it if I'm entertaining. So think about that, if you can. Think about, where do you waste your time? All right, where do you waste your time and therefore you don't have enough time to do the things that need to be done? Jeannie's saying about looking after herself. She's saying, I go out nearly every day to do something, get groceries, gas for the car, get more meds for her dog and for her husband. I enjoy alone time. Jeannie, I've just found an app, which I will gladly share with you if you're interested. Just let me know privately. I found an app that gives you like 15-minute snippets from all the best books that are available, about and you can choose the topic, whether it's something you want to learn or something you want to feel or do. It just gives you the top 15 minutes of any book. And it's just amazing and you can choose whether you want to read it or whether you want to listen to it. And I like that option because sometimes I just want to read it. That's my relaxation, is just to spend 15 minutes. I know that's what it's going to, if I stop and read that section, it's going to be approximately a 15-minute break. And then sometimes at night, I will turn it on just so that it can help me go to sleep. As I go to sleep, I can be listening to something that's of interest. The monk also said, peace can exist only in the present moment. It's ridiculous to say, wait until I finish this. Then I'll be free to live in peace. What is this? In other words, there's no point in my saying, I'll feel better when. It's like, feel better now. That will help you create what you're trying to create, right? He said, what is this? A diploma, a job, a house, the payment of a debt? If you think that way, peace will never come. There is always another this that will follow. It will follow the present one. If you are not living in peace in the moment, you will never be able to. If you truly want to be at peace, you must be at peace right now. Otherwise, there is only the hope of peace someday. All right, so think about that. Think about that. In order to tackle the chaos, I needed to be at peace. So the first thing I did was to acknowledge that I didn't like what I was looking at, and that didn't make me happy. I don't mind saying that. And the voice inside my head, started going, and I went, stop. And I went and grabbed a coffee, and I sat down, and then I closed my eyes and went, what do you need to do? And the answer was, you need to tidy things up so that you can be relaxed again. Okay, how do you do that peacefully? Can you understand that question? How do you want to do that peacefully? And the answer was, just get up, turn on, this is a funny thing, turn on the tennis, all right? And at the end of every game, or every 2 games, your choice, or at the end of every set, go and do something to make it better. Does that make sense? I didn't say you've got to go in there and work your heart out until you got it all sorted. And then what I found was I was pretty good about getting up during the commercial break, right? Because the commercial breaks were quite long. It's amazing what you can do in a couple of minutes if you are on a mission. So what I would do is I'd thoroughly enjoy, some of the tennis, and then the commercial break would come on, and I got up and I'd put some things away, right? Or I'd sort some things and I go back and enjoy more tennis. And then I get up and sort a few more things. Then I put everything back in the cupboard and close the cupboard doors. I was so excited when I did that. And I just went, well done, Sal. One step in the right direction. Now go and watch some more tennis. Reward yourself. Watch some more tennis. Next time I got up, get rid of that Keurig. Not the Keurig, the caloric fryer. It needs to get out of the art room, out of the craft room. Where are you going to put it? That was the next thing. I had to think about that. And then I went in the bedroom. And then the voice in my head started to argue, you spent so long getting everything out of your bedroom. And I went, shush. It's only going to be in there for maybe a week, if that. So it's not long term. All right. So Jody's saying, she said, I laughed when I read your message about stuffing tomatoes. It's so true, though. Point taken. Yes. I wonder, again, how much time we waste on stuff that really isn't important. What is more important? Spending time with people you love is more important than impressing them. All right. I was really bad at that. I've got to tell you that. I was really bad at that. Yep. Jody's saying that makes so much sense. I sometimes approach exercise the same way. A few minutes at a time really adds up over the day. Yes, Jody, I thought I would let you know that I'm really glad you mentioned that. How many of you remember I set a goal that this year I would like to average at least 6,500 steps a day. And, it was interesting to me because I sort of came up with that, and only afterwards did I go back and have a look at what had I done a year ago. How many steps did I do average? It turned out that I averaged about 6,300 a day over the year. All right, because I kept track for the whole year. And so 6,500 was obviously going to be an improvement. Makes sense? Now, I was starting to beat up on myself because I had the eye problem, and that slowed me down. And so, the stuff now trying to tidy things up, that slowed me down. So I wasn't getting the steps in that I wanted to. So today, because I could hear the voice starting, I went, stop. Let's deal with facts. Remember, let's get rid of the emotion. No point beating up on myself. Let's deal in facts. Is it true that I am a lazy slob? Somewhere in my mind, that's what's coming up. And so I checked the figures because, I keep them. I'm pretty anal about that. And what I found out is that I am already way ahead of what I was doing this time last year. That surprised me, and it pleased me. And when I let go of the emotion, okay, I don't know if anybody can read me, but I've got a break in my signal. And I'm just going to type that so people can see it. So to me, it's important that you understand this, all right? That you need to stop and get a grip. Let go of the emotion and deal with the facts, and then you'll be surprised 9 times out of 10. Okay, thanks, Jody. Jody's letting me know that the signal is stable again. I've learned that if the typing gets through, even if the picture doesn't. So that's good to know. Okay, thanks, Kimmy. Kimmy's confirming that she can hear me as well. So that's awesome. So do you understand what I'm saying here? That even though I felt that I hadn't done as much as I wanted to, when I looked at the facts, I was still ahead of this time last year. all right, which made me feel good. I believe that the reason I am is because I'm more fit than I was this time last year. More fit than I was this time last year. All right. So I'm naturally doing more because my muscles are a little bit stronger than they were this time last year. I'm doing the right things. Oh, hi there, Noor. Welcome. I don't know how you found us, but it's always a pleasure. Nora's saying the tips are so helpful. Thank you. I struggle with the voice in my head. You know something? I've struggled with that voice in my head my whole life, but I've learned to talk back to it. Now, Nora, I need to talk to you about this, if I may, because you do know that that voice is trying to help you. All right. In a strange way, I've discovered the voice in my head is trying to help me. The only thing is I need to get it, but it's inclined to be my child voice, the one that doesn't want to do anything, or the one that wants to give me an excuse. That's what I found. And the one that wants me to feel guilt. I don't know why. That's interesting. Kimmy's saying, I plan on getting more fit as soon as the doctor says, okay. So here's the thing. Do you know how fit you are now? In other words, start finding out how fit you are now so you can have a benchmark. Kimmy, one of the things that I think you might know is that I had to go back onto some blood pressure medication. And what I made sure I did was to keep track of my blood pressure prior to going onto the meds, so that I've got that benchmark. This is what it was before I took the meds, and then this is how much it's dropping, or has dropped. But one of the things I thought about this morning, Kim, when I was doing my meds time, was, what about in my sleep? Has it changed? Has taking the medication changed my resting heart rate when I sleep? All right. And is it getting pretty low? Well, I want to tell you, it's getting pretty low when I sleep. Now, there's part of me that's a little concerned about that, but that means that it's time for me to talk, to do a bit of research and find out, what is okay. And when do I, if it drops below 50, should I be worried? Should I be telling my doctor? That sort of thing. So again, freaking out about it doesn't fix anything. What fixes it is knowledge, and correct knowledge. Oh, it's interesting. So Nora is saying, I've been a silent viewer since July, since Judy and Benji started. They shared the channel years ago. Wow, that is amazing. Well, I hope you found some things that have helped you. What I believe is, if I keep telling my truth about my stress levels and my chaos, and and Jody does as well, and Kimmy does hers, and everything else, to my mind, somewhere in there, we should be able to help quite a few people. Why? Because if I think I'm the only one that's got a voice in my head criticizing me, then I know I'm not that special now. I know I'm not that. I mean, I know I'm pretty darn special. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I know that. But I know I'm not that special. Therefore, if I've got a voice going on inside my head, the chances are so have you. And if you can see that I deal with the voice in my head by answering it back. And by the way, I try not to do it out loud because I don't want people to think I'm got a bit of a problem going on here. But I acknowledge that voice. I hear you. I say that. I hear you. Because I know at some level that voice is trying to protect me. But I'm also amazed, and I wonder if any of you have noticed this. I am amazed how many times that voice in my head wants me to quit, or to give me an excuse why I don't have to do something. And that is also a time when I talk back, and I will say to that voice, I call her Gertrude, by the way, gave her a name. I go, Gertrude, I know you don't want me to get this fixed because you come from my childhood. And you want somebody else to fix it for you, right? But the truth is, I'm the one that fixes things for me. I no longer give that job to somebody else. Now, would this be quicker if I had somebody here to help? Yeah, you bet it would. And do I definitely need somebody to help? Yeah, maybe to get some of those boxes back into the shed. But quite honestly, a lot of it, if I do it slowly enough, I can do it myself. And the trick is, can I do it slowly enough and not beat up on myself? Well, the lovely thing is that you're actually chatting, and we love it when people come in and chat. It makes our life so much more interesting. So thank you for that. And by the way, let us know roughly where you live, like what country or what state or something like that. The monk also said each time you look at a tangerine, you can see deeply into it. You can see everything in the universe in one tangerine. When you peel it, when you smell it, it is wonderful. You can take your time eating a tangerine and be very happy. So how many of you can see that depending on how I approach the chaos, I can make this a pleasant experience for myself, or I can beat up on myself the whole way? What I made sure I did was I gave myself these tiny little tasks. All right? You just need to go into the studio and move a box. So that's all. And I'd go and I'd move one box and I'd move two, and I'd go, stop. That's all you have to do. You have succeeded. Well done. And I go, yeah, but I'm just going to move that. Well, okay, but then go and sit down. You've done enough. You have proved that you are trying to fix the problem. Well done. Yeah, but if I do this, yeah, and you're probably going to strain something. So just do one little more thing, then go and sit down. You have the rest of your life, if you need it, to finish it. Right? It really isn't that urgent. It is just you thinking, yes, but what if somebody comes to visit? Well, what if they don't? But I hear you. What if somebody comes to visit apparently is big in your mind, Sal. So therefore, tidy up the rooms that people are going to see first. Does that make sense to everybody? Listen to the voice. It's trying to tell you something. So what my voice is trying to tell me, I will be embarrassed if somebody came to visit right now and I've got this chaos going on. I heard that. And they're right. The monk also said, I will practice coming back to the present moment, not letting regrets and sorrow drag me back into the past, or letting anxieties and fears or cravings pull me out. So therefore, as I did each thing to help myself, can you see that I could keep saying, you're one step closer to being more organized again? Well done. And then when I looked into the studio this morning and I had taken the one more step, I realized I was now only about 4 feet away from the window. And then my mind, I don't know if you guys relate to this, my mind immediately said, yeah, but what are you going to put in there? And I went, Sal, one step at a time. Get the carpet down, and then we will sit down and we will plan what you're going to do. You see, because I know I probably want to put a bed into that room to have a spare bedroom if I really need it. But then I've got an aero bed somewhere in the shed, which would do quite nicely. You know what I mean? Or do I want to spend money and buy a bed that I don't need most of the time? Not really, no. I have a futon in my, the area opposite my fireplace. I have a huge couch, which is big enough for Doug to sleep on because he sleeps on it every time out of choice. So, it's just like, really. So when we bring ourselves back into the present, now don't let me worry about what I'm going to do with the room. Let me just keep getting the room, get the carpet down in the studio. That would be a major step this week. So all I need to do this week is get the carpet down. It is amazing how often in doing that my mind wanted to go forward. What if, who, what, why, where, it was just like, shush, one thing at a time. My goal for tomorrow is to put all the bits back into that box, to get the air fryer back into that box. I know it'll take me about an hour, but that's all in a 24-hour period. And then to get that box back into the other box, which I will rebuild now. And probably by tomorrow, they will have sent me the shipping label that I need. Makes sense? But I don't need to do it today. And I just need to do one more step. Is it the end of the world if I don't get it back in the box tomorrow? No. So, you look at it and you go, we do ourselves so much damage. If I don't sort out the chaos that is upsetting me, then do you understand? I am my own worst enemy. If I hear the voice in my head saying that I am a mess, that's not, and I don't say that's not true. I'm not a mess. I have accidentally created a mess. Hi, Sandy. Good to see you. I have created a mess, but not intentionally. If you remember, I had everything ready to go back into the shed for when Yvonne came to visit. That was my plan. Have it all ready to go back in. Then I will be able to get them to help me put stuff in the shed. That was my plan. But then I got sick. And we weren't sure whether I had COVID or not. So we put a halt on the visit. Okay, so Kimmy's asking, what am I sending back? I got the replacement for my air fryer. You remember I needed to send an air fryer back because it stopped working? Well, I got the replacement. But the funny thing was, Kimmy, when I unpacked it, one of the things I kept looking for is, where is the filter? All right, because I've got a very sensitive fire alarm system in here now. And I didn't find the filter. And I checked all the styrofoam 3 times over, and I went, no, there is no filter here, which struck me as strange because it was the whole selling point for me that it had one. So then what I did is I took a picture of the model number, and then I went back to my initial order for the original one that broke, and I checked the model number of that. And guess what? This was not the same as I ordered. This was the one step down, like $100 cheaper. And guess why? It didn't have the special grill, and it didn't have the special air filter on it. So you can probably imagine, for a split second, I was angry. And the voice in my head said, they tried to cheat you on this. And I went, no, they didn't. They made a mistake. And then I asked my voice, have you ever made a mistake before you judge people like that? Yeah, well, okay, maybe they just made an honest mistake. Well, it's so inconvenient and da-da-da-da. I went, yes, it is, Sal. It's very inconvenient. But deal with it. Let them know. And so that's what I read. And I wrote to them and I said, I have a feeling there's been a mistake. I am not 100% sure, but you will be able to tell me whether it's just they forgot to include the filter or whether I have the wrong model. You see, I gave them the benefit of being right, and just that the filter was missing. I was pretty sure they were wrong, and so what I did was I took the pictures, like deal with facts, not emotion. I wasn't angry and said, you tried to rip me off or whatever. I just said, please just help me here. This is the model number you sent me. Here is a picture of it. But this is the model number I originally ordered. Now, what I didn't know was this model number now a newer version that, had a different model number? It's possible. But for some reason, I just didn't get the filter. So you look at it and go, I can overreact or I can deal in fact. Think about that. How many times do you waste a lot of time overreacting? And then you have to spend more time calming yourself down afterwards. So I try, emotionally intelligently to not, I can feel the feeling. Did they rip me off? I don't mind telling you. I had that feeling. I went, shush. Yeah, it's probably just a mistake. So, and you've made plenty. How about this one? The monk also said the present moment is the substance with which the future is made. Therefore, the best way to take care of the future is to take care of the present moment. What else can you do? What else can you do? You can spend and waste so much time worrying about what if. Well, 9 times out of 10, what if isn't going to happen. Now, that probably sounds strange when I said to Jeannie, are you prepared for what if? Because I think that's something different. One is being prepared. I remember going in for an operation one time, and I was single, and what I did was I had a really quite serious conversation with my assistant, and said, if for any reason I don't make it out of this operation, this is what needs to happen. These are the people you need to contact, and this is where all the important stuff is. And she said, oh my God, you're so negative. And I said, no, I'm not. I have every intention of coming out of that operation. But wouldn't it be really unfriendly of me to leave you with that responsibility without giving you a roadmap and telling you who you need to call and who will handle the problem for you? I think that would be irresponsible of me, not negative. Needless to say, I was very happy when I woke up again. But so to me, I like to think, am I prepared for this? I don't have to dwell on it, but am I prepared for it? And to me, it's a different thing. I don't see it as a negative. So what have you guys learned from today's broadcast? What is it that you went, oh, that's a good point, or I needed to be reminded of that? What is it in your life that you are doing to create chaos? Are you busy, stuffing tomatoes when you really don't have enough time? And the reason I say that is, it is great to do, or to supreme citrus. It's a great thing to do if you have the time or if you've planned to make the time. But, don't do it every day. Life is so busy these days. Now, Sandy and all the rest of the creative people in the room, I always laugh when I say, why would I spend 10 minutes going to the store buying a birthday card when I can spend a week making one? Now, some of you creative people know exactly of what I speak. Now, the question is, then why do I do it? Okay, so Noah said, I'll be shushing the thoughts as they come in. You know what, Terry Cole Whitaker said something, Noah, that was wonderful. She said, stop shoulding all over yourself, all right? Because if you keep hearing what I should have done, if you hear yourself say, I should have done, I could have done, I would have done, stop shoulding all over yourself is another really good one. You didn't. Well, you should have been here yesterday. Hello? What a waste of time that statement is. I couldn't have been here yesterday. I'm here today. All right, so Jody's saying, I needed reminding of the importance of giving ourselves forgiveness. Yes. Can you understand how I needed to forgive myself for the mess and realize and give myself credit that I had not intentionally created it? It was just a perfect storm of things happened all at the same time. I was trying to move on, one step in the studio, one step in the laundry room. The only problem was the places where I would have put stuff suddenly started getting filled up with other stuff. And that was beyond my control. So my perfect plan suddenly wasn't a perfect plan anymore. And really to let go of that issue in the laundry room and say, put everything back and close the door. You are not ready. Yes, but I promised. Doesn't matter, Sal. Put everything back and close the door. You are not ready to paint in the laundry room because you need space in the studio to put what's in the laundry room, and you are busy trying to put the carpet down. Can you see that it all started to make sense? So you need to get the carpet down and get the studio fixed before you can do the laundry. Well, now here's the other thing I want you all to think about, which is you keep hearing me say, and that needs to go in the shed. But I don't have room in the shed. So what are you hearing? There is definitely, I took out at least 6 or 8 boxes with the Christmas stuff in it. So I took out 8 boxes. So there is room in there. I just have to reorganize the boxes that are in there. Does that make sense? That takes time. And it is very difficult work because it's already very cramped, in that shed. It's already very cramped. But in order to make room for the big bins to go back, I need to spend some time in the shed. And that's on my outside project stuff for this coming week. Jody's saying, I am in a similar situation with trying to clear clutter. I appreciate your examples of the real life frustrations with that. Yes. And the other thing is, remember, Jody, to do one little thing at a time. Sit in your recliner and look and go, that shelf is where I need to start. That shelf has been pissing me off for a long time. And then go, that's a big shelf. Let me do half. What do I need to do? Now sit in the recliner and work it out. What do I need to do? I need a cubie to put the stuff in so that it won't look like a mess while I'm sorting it out. And then I'm going to work on the cubie to empty the cubie. All right? You see, and it's just like, and I can do that sitting on the recliner. I just need it, if necessary. Sandy's saying, I really enjoy making gifts, much more than buying. I'm sure I spent more money too. Yeah, I agree with you, Sandy. And so I've got a birthday coming up, and I am going to make time this week to make a birthday card ready for Sunday. Right? Doesn't have to be a perfect one. It needs to say I spent the time and that I care. By the way, because I know that's coming up, Sandy, while I've been watching the tennis, I've been sort of sorting out. I realized that I can do a lot of the design of it sitting in the living room. I have the program on my laptop, so I can actually do the design of it and everything while I'm sitting in my living room. I just need to take it into the craft room to do the final cutting of it, and then I can bring it back into the living room and carry on watching the tennis, putting it together if I want to. And Kimmy's saying, I am in the same situation. I think most of us are, Kimmy, right? We've all got areas in our life that are causing us stress. And so I'm hoping that you can see the stress isn't going to go away on its own. We need to, number one, acknowledge that it's stressing us out. How many times have you watched me when I'm about to do a broadcast and I notice that those 3 tea towels are not where they're meant to be? And you will see me say, excuse me, I got to fix them. Now, quite honestly, I did look at them today and go, they're not together. And I went, I can live with it. Right? But sometimes, like it's only, they're all, they're not even straight today either. But you know something? I can live with it. But there have been some days where they've been so off, and I just had to say to you, excuse me a second, I got to straighten that up. Because I realize that I can't cope with it. Right? I know that's going to upset me all the time. So that's what I do. This is DearMamaSal saying, sometimes we need to go backwards to go forwards. Sometimes we just need to stop and work out what is upsetting us. And my wish for you is this week, listen to the voice in your head. Know that the voice in your head is trying to help you find an excuse or give you forgiveness or do whatever. But you control your thoughts. And so if you know that the thoughts in your head are not helping you, they are not coming from a place of emotional intelligence. They're coming from a 5-year-old child having a snit. They should have sent me the right one. Well, hello, they didn't. So shooting all over the fact they should have sent me the right one the first time, waste of energy. You see, when we get that, then our stress gets lowered. When we stop and go, do I really need to get all this done immediately? The answer is no. The answer is no. So what do you want to get done? What one thing do you want to get done next will help you lower your stress level? So this is Dear Mama Sal saying thank you so much for being here. And Jody, thank you for looking after me as usual. And to all of you, and Nora, nice to meet you. Understand this is not something that you alone struggle with. It is something we all struggle with. And together, when we talk about it, when we can discuss it together, we can help each other see that one step at a time we can lower the stress level. One step at a time, we can realize we're doing actually a little bit better than we thought we were. And also to realize we're not alone. There are people who care and who want to help you. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, have a wonderful week. You're going to have feelings. Life's going to come in your way, and it's going to get in your way, and then you will end up with stress. That's what it's all about. How we cope with that is what makes us emotionally intelligent. This is Dear Mama Sal saying, bye-bye for now. Have a great week.